Hi everyone, welcome back for part 2 of the Ultimate Bant Standard event. Let's dive right in. I realized I did not start out the first video with the deck on the screen, so if you are looking for the deck list, check it out in the description below. It is Crokeyz' exact deck list that he was playing at the end of last season. And as I mentioned before, it's been really powerful, so I encourage you to try it out. Alright. So I think that for an opening hand, we're generally looking for a piece of ramp and at least one planeswalker. Here we don't have the gross power, but we do have Uro and 2 3-mana planeswalkers as well as the ability to scry, so this definitely looks keepable to me. I think having a bunch of 3-mana spells and a high likelihood of hitting our third land on time makes this well worth it. So it appears we're playing a Jeskai Fires deck. Against that deck, Narset is by far our best card. It basically turns off the Cavalier of Gales, Cavalier of Flames in terms of the card draw effects, and it can really mess up their plans. I don't love not having a play for the first 2 turns, but I think guaranteeing that we're hitting our third land drop is well worth it. There's not a whole lot that we're doing before turn 3 anyway. Interesting. So this is a Jeskai Fires deck that is pre-boarded into Robber of the Rich. Well, we're still going to scry. Knowing that they're going to steal the card that's on top of our deck, I think it makes sense just to make them hit a land. That's an interesting plan to have Robber of the Rich in the main deck. It doesn't generally go with the rest of the strategy and Legion Warboss. So a very interesting pre-boarded deck. So here we have a lot of really interesting choices. We have 4 different plays we can make, and they all have their own benefits. I think we're going to get run over, unfortunately, if we continue to just play Narset and draw cards. My instinct is Knight of Autumn or Teferi. We can try to ramp to Elspeth Conquers Death, but we'd have to have a couple lands in our next couple cards. I think I like starting to stabilize on the board and then trying to ramp with Uro. Notably, Knight of Autumn is out of Stomp range, which is another card that they could easily have in hand. Wow, they've kind of got it all. Fires into Sphinx here. This is one reason that it may have been correct to actually hold on to the Knight of Autumn to destroy their Fires of Invention. We can bounce it with Teferi here. Additionally, now might be a good time to ramp and try to hit Elspeth Conquers Death on the Fires next turn. It seems like it's unlikely that they have a 5th land and a play here, so I'm actually going to bounce the Sphinx and make it a little bit harder for them to find something to do with Fires. And this does stabilize our board again. Alright, they do have the 5th land. Hopefully they don't have a 5-drop here. Wow. Unfortunately they do. So they can give everything haste and get in for quite a bit of damage. Alright, and I'm guessing we're going to have to block the Cavalier of Flames here. I don't think we can survive anyway. Let's see. 8. Maybe we'll stay at 1? Nope, they get us lethal. Okay. Alright, so that game went very poorly. Let's see. Post board, 3 Aether Gusts seem incredibly good. In terms of what we are cutting, I don't expect them to still be on the Legion Warboss plan, since we are going to be on the play. But it's unclear since they were pre-boarded into it. I think we're going to cut 1 Teferi, 1 Elspeth Conquers Death, and 1 Mystical Dispute. This way we still have an ability to clear their board if they get off to a really fast start. And we have a lot of ways to deal with fires. Yeah, I think our opponent definitely had the very top end of their range last game, so I'm optimistic going to these second 2 games that we can do better. Alright. And here, I think it makes sense to play Fabled Passage and fetch a Forest, so that we can definitely Growth Spiral on turn 2. And we're looking at a turn 4 Nissa as it stands, and the ability to Aether Gust a lot of their relevant plays. I do think it's really interesting, the pre-boarded game plan that they've gone to, especially since a lot of people know about that game plan post-board now, but certainly nobody is expecting it in game 1. So here, the Robber of the Rich is not going to be able to draw them any cards, and I'm going to just let that resolve and Growth Spiral. And I think we do want to make sure we hit our 5th land, so I'm okay to leave that on top. And here they're still unlikely to be able to draw off of Robber of the Rich. So, depending on what they do here. Okay, 2nd Robber. I think it makes sense to Aether Gust this one, as we really don't want to fall too far behind, and we're going to have our mana tied up for our next couple turns. And we have Elspeth Conquers Death to get rid of a Fires if they do have that. So here, I think it makes sense to play out the Nissa and animate the island. As I mentioned in the previous couple games, in general, you want to animate your non-forest lands. Alright, they do have Fires into Sphinx. We will be able to Elspeth Conquers Death the Fires, though. Alternatively, we could attempt to run them over by Elspeth Conquers Death on the Sphinx. And I think we're actually going to have enough to Tameo after that as well. Elspeth Conquers Death on the Fires is definitely the safer play. Oh, we can also Tameo Aether Gust on Fires. Kind of like that. A lot of different options here. I'm going to play it safe and just get rid of the Fires with Elspeth Conquers Death. Play out Tameo and animate another non-forest land. Alright, and I think here we really want to find Narset. And the nice thing about having Elspeth Conquer's Death out is it is going to provide a little bit of a speed bump unless they have fires again on this turn. And additionally, if they do manage to kill one of our planeswalkers, we'll just be able to bring it back. Okay, so Cavalier of Gales is a pretty good one, but much less scary without fires out there. And let's just see what kind of targets we have for Tamiel. Probably Aether Gust, still our best one. Okay, oh, and that is the perfect draw. Getting a huge flying blocker that also draws us cards is spectacular. And here, I am actually going to animate the forest just to maximize the size of the Hydroid Krasis. Alright, and we did find a Narset. Did not find another land, unfortunately.
Seek and find.
And let me go look for Shatter the Sky now. And we'll pass. So now, unless they have some way of getting rid of Hydroid Krasis, it's going to be hard for them to attack down our planeswalkers without losing creatures. Kenrith is... okay, so they do have fires. And the Cavalier of Flames, but no ability to give everything +1/+0 in haste. And I think playing out a combination of Narset, Teferi, and Uro on the next turn feels really strong against what they're trying to do. We'll go ahead and get rid of that Robber of the Rich. Okay, so we'll bring Teferi back with an additional loyalty. Play out Narset. See if we can find something good.
Keep an open mind.
Let's see. We can Nissa Ultimate, play another Nissa. That feels pretty strong. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll pay 2 life here.
The land bestows opportunity for those who are worthy.
Oh, and I've made a huge mistake by not tapping the lands before Nissa ultimating. Oh, man. Let's see. The bounce fires, slow them down.
I am not making this up as I go.
Yeah, that was really, really bad. And
I noted this somewhere.
we'll search for another Shatter of the Sky. Alright, so unfortunately that was a huge misplay. Hopefully we're able to survive one more turn here. If we are, we should be able to still come out on top. Scariest thing here would be either a Kenrith or another Cavalier of Flames. Okay, so they're just going to attempt to draw some additional cards, but Narset turns that off. And now we can survive this turn. And they've chosen not to give everything haste, so they're not attacking here. So we definitely blundered pretty hard on our turn, but our opponent did return the favor, and now we're in a really dominant position. So let's play Nissa. Return Elspeth Conquers Death.
I follow the tracks of the wise.
Get rid of Cavalier of Flame. Can play Uro here. Scry. We definitely would like to draw another land for the turn. So I kind of want to clear the board here. Let's first see. I guess I should have Narsetted first there. A lot going on here. Let me go ahead and Growth Spiral to draw that land. I'm going to pay the 2 life here. We'll go with a second Uro. Oh, an Aether Gust is a really nice one. So now, gonna animate the Breeding Pool.
The land fights for us.
On their turn, I'm gonna Aether Gust after they draw a card. We're gonna keep back the blockers right now. Let's go ahead and tick Teferi up and draw a card with Narset as well.
Hone your prowess.
And I'll take Shadow this guy just as a way to clear the board here. So we have our stop set. We're going to let them draw, and then we will Aether Gust the Fires of Invention after they scry and draw. So even Kenrith should not be able to kill us here. Let's double check that before we Aether Gust this. I guess if they do have Kenrith, it doesn't really matter if we Aether Gust this or not. Alright. At least this way they are going to have to pay full price for whatever card they've drawn. Alright, it is Kenrith. They can give everything trample and haste, but we survive that. And they've chosen not to. So here, definitely going to attack with Hydroid Krasis and then shatter this guy. That will allow all the lands to survive since they are indestructible. But does stop us from drawing a card off of the Shatter the Sky. Let's actually plus Teferi. Draw our card with Shadow the Sky here. Then we can get in with a ton of Nissa lands and put them in a really bad spot. So our Nissa ultimate misplay does not look like it's going to come back to bite us, thankfully. Go ahead and animate one of the tapped lands. Attack with everybody. Look for Night of Autumn. Play out a new Narset. We only have 9 cards left in our deck, so we have to be a little bit careful here.
I have just the trick for this.
Let's bring back an Uro. Again, looking to get rid of lands. And we can hold the Night of Autumn here, I think. So, alright, that'll do it. I was going to say, I don't think there's really any combination of cards that gets our opponent out of that. So, in a game where we're going to be on the draw, what do we want to do differently? I think one less Hydroid Crisis is fine. And we really want to be able to stop them from going off with Fires of Invention. It is possible they go back to that quick game plan. If that's the case, which I think that makes a lot of sense if they were pre-boarded into it, we want some number of Devout Decrees here. So I'm going to bring in at least 2 of them. Cutting 2 to Fairy. We definitely want the Shatter the Skies. Maybe Tameo is worse if they go to that quick game plan. I think I'm going to go with this. I don't want to be too reactive. We'll bring in 1 more Devout Decree, and I don't think we need the Heliod's Intervention. We have the 3 Night of Autumn. So between that and Aether Gust, we should have plenty of ways to deal with the actual Fires of Invention card. Yeah, I'm more concerned about getting run over by Legion War Boss, Robber of the Rich, and really like having Devout Decree in the opener, as well as Ramp and Night of Autumn. This looks like a super strong opener against what they're doing. Our opponent is on a mulligan as well. I think maybe even a double mulligan. But yeah, this feels well set up to answer pretty much both of their game plans. The get underneath you game plan, as well as the typical Fires game plan. Definitely want to continue to hit our land drops. Oh, and they're stuck on a 1-lander, so unfortunately, we're probably not going to have much of a game here. Do we even want this Hydroid Crisis? Probably not. Yeah, this is kind of a bummer. I was honestly looking forward to a real Game 3, especially with this opener. It looked like it could have been really interesting. But yeah, they've just gone way too many turns without hitting a land drop, unfortunately. Alright, so they do have the Robber of the Rich, kind of like we expected. And they've pulled our Nissa. So I think Devout Decree on the Robber of the Rich into Uro makes a lot of sense. I like drawing another land here as well. Do I? No, maybe I don't. I take that back. We've already got the land to add to the battlefield with Uro. And now we're just looking for planeswalkers. Or ways to fill up the yard. And that is a planeswalker. Alright. Unfortunately, a really anticlimactic game 3, but I think a pretty interesting match. And we are advancing to 3-0 in the standard event. If you enjoyed this, please consider a like and subscribe below, and I'll be back soon with part 3 of this video. Thanks. Bye.